Alright, listen up. We're diving straight into this highly classified explainer briefing. You're in this room because you've either secured level 3 clearance or somebody high up signed off on a restricted command waiver. So welcome to the Foundation. Let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. Understanding what we're going over today isn't some academic exercise. It is quite literally a matter of life and death. The anomaly we're looking at is deceptive, it's highly lethal, and its biology is, well, it's deeply unsettling. Pay close attention to the intel we're pulling up because your survival is absolutely going to depend on recognizing these parameters. Here's how this explainer breaks down. We'll hit the threat classification, move into containment mandates, cover the physical anomalies, and wrap up with the historical incident report. A quick message. Accessing these archives requires level 3 clearance. Ensure your credentials are up to date by hitting the subscribe button to stay informed on future containment breaches. Back to the video. First up, Section 1, Threat Classification. Object Class, Euclid. Now, because of that Euclid tag, you need to understand this anomaly is inherently unpredictable. We can't just lock it in a standard box, throw away the key, and forget about it. No. It requires constant vigilance, active energy inputs, and incredibly strict operational protocols, just to maintain the illusion that we're in control. So what exactly is SCP-002? Essentially, it's this massive tumorous fleshy growth. It clocks in at about 60 cubic meters, roughly 2,000 cubic feet for perspective. But honestly, its physical size is completely secondary to its primary function. It's a biological mechanism that actively converts living human beings into structural furnishings. It doesn't kill you to eat you, it kills you to decorate. Moving to Section 2, Containment Mandates. These are your absolute survival protocols. Look, I cannot stress this enough. Deviating from these rules will result in your immediate termination. That is, assuming the anomaly doesn't get to you first. Let's talk about emergency procedures during a power outage. SCP-002 has to stay connected to a suitable power supply at all times to keep it in what we call our recharging mode. But if the facility goes dark, you have to execute this exact sequence without a second of hesitation. Step 1, you close the emergency barrier. Step 2, evacuate the immediate area completely. Step 3, you blast the area with alternating bursts of X-ray and ultraviolet light, continuously strobing it until the grid is back up. Oh, and the containment area? It has to be kept at negative air pressure at all times. The absolute bottom line here is that the subject can never, under any circumstances, be allowed to wake up from its dormant state. Which brings us to the strict engagement rules for approaching the anomaly. If you are stepping within 20 meters of SCP-002, you're going in with a team of at least 2 personnel. Minimum. Why? Because you have to maintain continuous physical contact with your partner. I'm serious. The closer you get to it, the more the anomaly actively dulls, skews, and just totally messes with human perception. That physical touch is your only tether, your only confirmation that reality is still intact, and you haven't just wandered off alone. Like we covered, level 3 clearance is the bare minimum to even be in the room. If someone from command needs a waiver, they're getting heavily escorted by 5 guards, temporarily surrendering their rank, and submitting to a mandatory 72-hour quarantine and psych eval. And that eval happens at least 5 kilometers away from the site. No exceptions. Let's hit Section 3, Physical Anomalies. We'll look at the internal and external structure. Brace yourselves for this part, because the deeply unsettling juxtaposition of how this thing looks is exactly how it lures people inside. From the outside, like we said, it's just this grotesque, fleshy, tumor-like mass. But bolted right into the side of this biological nightmare is a totally mundane iron valve hatch. And here's where it gets really weird. When you open that hatch and look inside, all that biological exterior just vanishes. It gives way to the perfect illusion of a standard, slightly dingy low-rent apartment. Even crazier? One of the walls inside has a window, but if you look at the mass from the outside, there is no opening. It's a spatial impossibility. It's literally a perfectly crafted trap designed to disarm you. Now, let's take a look at how exactly the anomaly furnishes this trap. Because when you look closely, the objects inside this apartment are absolutely not what they seem. Check out these material origins. We've got 2 lamps, a throw rug, a television, a radio, a beanbag chair, 4 children's toys, and a small potted plant. Not a single one of them was manufactured in a factory. They are meticulously sculpted out of bone, woven hair, and various biological substances produced by the human body. Lab testing confirmed it. Every single piece of matter inside that room shows independent or fragmented human DNA sequences. The entire room is built out of the remains of its victims. So why does this matter? Well, the Foundation ran incredibly extensive tests using all sorts of lab animals, right up to higher primates. Absolutely zero response. Then, we introduced deceased human cadavers into the structure. Still nothing. The anomaly just ignored them entirely. Dead tissue and non-human biology do not trigger its transfiguration process. It wants living humans. Which brings us to Section 4, the Historical Incident Report, specifically the Mühlhausen discovery. We aren't studying this just for a history lesson. We're looking at it as a textbook case study in catastrophic operational failure. Let's walk through this timeline, because the escalation was fast and extremely deadly. It all started when SCP-002 struck the Earth from orbit, encased in this thick shell of rock, and left a crater in northern Portugal. The Foundation picked up a radioactive anomaly and sent General Mühlhausen to investigate. He got there and immediately started making critical errors. First, he recruited 3 local villagers for quote-unquote testing. He sent them all inside and they vanished. Realizing what he was dealing with, Mühlhausen went straight to brutal information suppression. He actually issued a termination order for roughly a third of the village just to ensure secrecy. But the disaster didn't stop there. While they were prepping it for transport, 4 of our own Foundation security personnel were inexplicably drawn inside and completely vanished. When they inspected the interior after that, the room had suddenly grown several brand new furnishings. At that point, command had to step in. General Mühlhausen was terminated, and SCP-002 was finally locked down under the strict, re-secured containment protocols we use today. Take a hard look at this number, 7. That is the total number of Foundation personnel permanently lost to SCP-002. And to be clear, that doesn't even count the villagers. We were talking about our own security staff, highly trained individuals who got caught in the anomaly's perceptual distortion and got turned into a lamp or a rug or a kid's toy. Let that sink in. Use it as a grim, ever-present warning for every single one of you attending this explainer briefing. We're going to wrap up this briefing with a clinical observation pulled straight from our formal description logs. Whatever process the subject uses to convert organic matter into furnishings is apparently only facilitated by the introduction of living humans. Right now, it's just waiting in the dark. It's tethered to our power grids, disguised as an empty, low-rent apartment. But make no mistake about it, the room is always waiting for its next piece of furniture. Don't let it be you. That concludes this explainer briefing on SCP-002. You are dismissed. This concludes today's briefing. If you wish to maintain your current clearance level and ensure continued access to the Versarian database, a subscription to this channel is mandatory. Secure your connection by leaving a like on this file, and log your requests in the comments section below to dictate which anomaly we unseal next. Stay vigilant and expect your next set of logs every day. Secure, contain, protect.